Today didn't start out feeling like a good day for me. Admittedly, I'm not an early morning person, so getting up early to watch DD's premiere was never going to be the greatest thing for me anyway. I might have fared better had I actually got out of bed and made myself a coffee to get things started. So, what were my expectations? I thought that DD probably would comment that Sammy seemed to be a bit of an attention seeker. However, it hadn't occurred to me that he might not look at the full interview that she did with Tony Dodge and therefore miss some of the more crucial elements. Correct me if I'm wrong, because it's possible that I may have drifted back to sleep at one point. But it seems to me that he didn't get far enough in to really get to the meat and potatoes of what was being said. I came away from it feeling disappointed, defeated and deflated, and wondering if there was any point in continuing to fight for justice for Kiely. To be honest, the tears did flow quite freely. However, having gone through a drive-through coffee place so that I could leave my sunnies on and fueled up with caffeine, I decided to go for a drive so I could clear my head and think a little bit. I'm going to share my drive with you and share my thoughts. So I didn't have a destination in mind other than knowing that I wanted to hit the open road, somewhere where I could stretch my legs, so to speak. First of all, I do want to share about my playlist while I was driving. When I started driving, I set my playlist to shuffle. And admittedly, I've got a kind of eclectic playlist on my phone. The first song that came up was the 80s classic, Don't Worry, Be Happy. Okay, I thought this is going to be interesting. Within 10 minutes, I'd also had When the Going Gets Tough, followed by Pink with Bridge of Light. Bridge of Light really resonated with me. It made me think, those of us who are coming at this out of love for Kiely must surely be able to make a difference. Driving is my go-to, something that I've always enjoyed and something that I find to be a great way to get my head together when things don't quite seem right. Normally, I'll head for the freeway, set my cruise control to 110 kilometres per hour so that I can sit back, really think, just concentrate on the driving, not the speed. However, this time, I decided to go the other way, the back road that heads down towards Melbourne. I had no destination in mind. I was just going to follow my nose, so to speak. Funnily enough, where I ended up is precisely where I think I needed to be. You'll see what I'm talking about in just a minute. Anyway, getting back to the DD thing from this morning. First of all, if I'm going to be honest, I actually agreed with his assessment of the parts of the interview that he listened to. Sammy did sound like she was doing it for attention. We all know that she was never friends with Kiely. And I think we all long ago came to the conclusion that she did not spend the whole party hanging with Kiely. Perhaps when I've had more time to digest the whole interview, I might go back and listen again and see what I think. But on the whole, I do feel that from what he watched, it was fairly accurate. However, here's why I'm so bitterly disappointed. Okay, so like I said, I did drift off a few times listening to it. So please correct me if I'm wrong about any of this. So the big thing for me, I think the expectation for me, was to hear what he thought about Sammy's comments over things like the Fight Club. Sometimes they fight over who won, but not this time. That was such a red flag to all of us. And yet he didn't get to it. And the comments about drinking out of everything she drank out of, they were crucial. They were huge red flags. I wish he'd have heard them. I could be wrong, but I did get a bit of a sense that DD made up his mind after hearing that very first statement that Sammy was only doing it for attention, and that possibly after that he was only looking for statements that would support that. I'm probably just being oversensitive there. If I listened again, I'd probably change my mind. I should give him the benefit of the doubt and admit that I was a little tired and I was a little bit taken aback. To be honest, I was also extremely unimpressed with a certain individual and her flying monkeys turning up. If you're so determined that you don't want to talk about Kiely anymore, then explain to me this. Why did you turn up to listen to Dee Dee's assessment of Sammy Smith? It seems to me that these people came fueled by hatred and spite. And to be honest, I really can't blame Kenny for his reaction. I think had I been more awake, I might have been really pushing it, trying to prevent myself from having the same reaction. Kenny, you have a big heart. You truly, truly care about getting justice for Kiely. And this morning really hurt for all of us. I don't know if I want Dee Dee to cover more of Kiely's case. I think my fear is that it would be really hard to properly assess the case from only a handful of interviews. Those of us who've come to a conclusion have done so from countless hours of listening to every interview that's out there, not to mention hours and hours of going through all the word salad that Megan comes out with. We've researched, we've read news articles, we've watched every community meeting, we've watched so many news articles, we've watched so many other people's panels and discussions. We've had a head start over Dee Dee of nearly 18 months. So I can't blame him for not really seeing what we see. He hasn't read the autopsy. He hasn't heard Doug Bishop say, "It's not a wrong turn road," or seen Nick's face when he came out of the water after finding Kiely. He hasn't seen the countless Sammy TikTok videos, that one with the headlamp, or the one where her friends are reenacting shoving someone in the trunk of a car. I don't know if you remember that, but I'll never forget it. He hasn't seen the sleepy photo or been given solid information by credible truckee locals. I think that were he to put more time into the case, his opinion of Sammy and Megan might change considerably. But we all know that when it comes to a larger channel like that, it's crucial for the existence of such a channel to be able to keep going and keep getting the views in. He doesn't have time to pull apart Kiely's case like we all have. I realised this can't be the end for me. I feel like I've been entrusted with a really important task. I'm one of the people that's meant to fight for Kiely, to get justice. How could you call yourself Ninja Chihuahua if you're not going to be fierce and fight for what's right? Chihuahuas might be little, but trust me, they can be ferocious. I'm not going to be bullied or threatened into silence. And I'm not going to give up just because someone who is pretty good at what they do listens to less than half an hour of one interview and comes to a conclusion that doesn't necessarily gel with what the rest of us know. Here's the thing. You try and knock me down, and this is what's going to happen. Sure, it might take the wind out of my sails momentarily, but then watch out, because when I get my footing and I come back twice as fierce as I was before. I made a commitment. I'm not quitting on Kiely. I'm here until we can get justice.
Give a fuck about me, 'cause if you stop to look around, you'd see it's not story for me. I can't get back the memories, but find the rest of the stories of the 2 times that you were right, and then inside. okay, baby, it's just us in this world. Nobody can change that. Hey, we gon' fuck up in this world, and we can't change that. Stay up all night, you and me. When I'm with you, I feel free. Stay up all night, you and me. When I'm with you, I feel free. I begin to wonder, did you ever give a fuck about me? 'Cause if you stop to look around, it's these transfer for me. I can't get back to memories. Like the summer is telling stories of the few times